to my channel. If it's your first time, thank you so much for stopping by. Today I am bringing to you a much requested video. I posted a video back in May where I had a budget of $35 and I made 13 dishes. I got such great feedback from that video, and in the comments a lot of people were telling me, oh, you need to make more of these videos, so I am here to deliver. Today I tried to keep it under $35, so I made it to $29.86, I think, so even better, under $30. So I'm going to show you, of course, everything that I got and the dishes that I make. One thing to note, I shopped multiple stores. I don't have a Walmart near me. I know you could probably go, depending on the area that you're in, you can probably go to Walmart and get some excellent prices, but then again, I know prices are like crazy all over. But I don't have a Walmart near me, so I had to go to multiple stores. In my last video, I also got quite a few things from Dollar Tree, but the Dollar Trees, at least the ones in my area, they have since increased their prices to $125. So some of the items that I got are I would have been able to get previously, they cost a lot more. So I am just going to show you everything that I got, and I think I got some really good deals. I'll show you everything, and then I will give you an idea of what I have in mind in terms of what I'm making. One thing to keep in mind for this video, like my previous one, I am going to use all of the spices in my cabinet because those are things that I don't buy all the time. You know, I'll buy one now and it lasts me for months. So I'm going to use my spices. I'm also going to use the oils that I have in my cabinet, and I'm also going to use condiments that I have. This is everything that I grabbed. So I got these sweet golden whole kernel corn. I got this from Target and these were 55 cents each. So I just grabbed 2 cans. So I grabbed these 2 cans, and I also got some tuna. So I'm thinking about doing maybe some burgers. So I got these cans of tuna at my Walgreens. They were on sale for 79 cents each. So I grabbed 2 of those. I got a container of baking powder. This I got from Aldi for $1.39. Then I grabbed 1 box of this 1 pound pack of elbow macaroni. This I got from Target for 85 cents. And I have to say, I don't usually shop for like a lot of grocery type items at Target. I don't shop there often, but I may be sleeping on Target because I was surprised to see that their elbow macaroni was 85 cents. So I grabbed that. Then I also got some sugar. So this time I decided to get some granulated sugar instead of, I think the last time I got like brown sugar, like the Domino brown sugar from the Dollar Tree. I got the granulated sugar from Target because I'm doing a bit of baking, and we're also going to get some juice in this video, and that would go perfectly. So this granulated sugar would work better for a lot of the dishes that I have in mind. So I got this 4 pound container of granulated sugar, and this was $1.99. Then I was really surprised to see this. I got this at Trader Joe. This these are 3 half-ounce packets of yeast, and this is the cheapest I've ever seen it. I got this at Trader Joe's for 99 cents. So I grabbed 1 of those. This flour was also a good buy. I got this at one of my local supermarkets. They had a sale where it was $1.49 for this 5 pound pack of all-purpose flour, this gold medal brand. So I decided to give it a try because this is the cheapest I have seen it anywhere. So I grabbed that. Then I got this. This was so difficult to find. So I am more familiar with using parboiled rice, and for me, for what I'm going to make, it will work best. It would work better than brown rice that I have in my supermarket. So this was a little on the pricey side, I guess. This was $1.69 for this 1 pound bag. So I grabbed it. So So this is the parboiled rice. Then I got this bag of yellow cornmeal. This is a coarse one. I would have preferred fine, but this is what they had. And this is a 24-ounce bag. This was $1.25 on sale. Then I just grabbed one of these, I guess like margarine packets, and it's a 16-ounce container. It usually comes with 4 blocks. This was 99 cents at one of my local supermarkets. Then I just grabbed some whole milk. So this is a 1-quart container, and this was $1.39. And this was an excellent deal. So these Cracker Barrel cheeses were on sale for $1.99 each, and I have a rebate app called Ibotta, and Ibotta was giving me back $1.25 on each block. So basically I paid, once I got my money back, I paid 75 cents or 70, yeah, so I paid like 74 cents per block for these. So that was an awesome deal, because you know Cracker Barrel can get expensive. So I got a marbled sharp and a Gouda. This should be really good. Eggs have been really pricey in my area lately, so when I saw these I had to grab them. So I got this 1 dozen container of eggs. These are the medium eggs, and these were 99 cents each. So I just grabbed 2 of these eggs. And in terms of the meats that we got, so I grabbed 2 types of meat. So this one I got at Target, and I just bought it and I put it in my freezer by the freeze by date. So as you can see, this is ground turkey, and it's a 1-pound pack. It was originally $5.29, but as you can see right here, it had a $3 off coupon, so I paid $2.29, and it's very lean. It's like 93% lean, and it has 7% fat. So we'll see what we can make with this. So I grabbed that from Target, and as I said, I just froze it by the date that was on it. And for our meat, I got some chicken. So this chicken I got at like my local supermarket. This is leg quarters, so it has, of course, the drumstick and the thigh portion still attached. So I just have to clean this up, get rid of a lot of the skin. This was an excellent deal. So at one of my local supermarkets, this was actually on sale for 49 cents per pound. And this, I think I have maybe like 5 or 6 whole leg quarters in it, and it came to $2.09. So that's an excellent deal. Okay, let's keep going with our haul. So I got this 8 count of burger buns from Aldi. This was 79 cents. So I just grabbed one of those for our burgers that we're going to make. And the vegetables, I didn't have a lot of luck this time. The prices are just crazy. I wasn't even to get, usually I'm able to grab, you know, maybe 1 or 2 heads of broccoli for like $1. Broccoli at my local vegetable store is like $3, so I could not get any of that. But we're going to use what we found. So I grabbed some string beans. So this bag was $1.50. Usually this is $1, but as I said, prices just going up everywhere. So I grabbed this bag of string beans because I'm going to use it for a few of the dishes. Then I just grabbed a pack of thyme. So this was just 50 cents. I decided just to grab 1 bell pepper because I don't think we're going to use this much of this. So I just grabbed 1, and this was 50 cents. Then I grabbed 1 cucumber. So this is like a seedless cucumber. This is how large it is. This was 50 cents. These were 2 for $1, so I thought this was a really good deal. Then I grabbed just 1 container of these grape tomatoes. This was $1. And I got this 1-pound bag of carrots. This was 50 cents, which was good. And I got a lot of limes this time. So can't really see it, but my local supermarket had these 6 for $1. So I got 12 of them we have plans for these, so keep watching. So I got $2 worth of these limes, and this time around we have some freebies, so I definitely accept all the freebies that I could get. So the first freebie that I have is actually from my parents. So they gave me this bag. I think it's a 2-pound bag of onions. It has a lot. It has 2, 4, 6, 8 onions in it. So this was free from my parents. That's definitely going to come in handy. Then I also got this can of black beans. So I was going to one of my local supermarkets. They had like a table there giving stuff away, and they were practically begging you to take the items. So black beans was one of those items, so I gladly accepted it. So we have a can of black beans that we're going to use as a nice side. And this one, let me see if I can show you, is scallions, green onions. So I don't know why I didn't do this before, but I started planting my scallions when I purchased them, and this is what I have. Of course, this is really good flavor to add to our dishes, so we're going to use our green onions that I've replanted. And, oh, if you looked at my last video, you would see that I made green seasoning. It's commonly made in the Caribbean to season your meats. We need some to season the meat that we have. Of course, I can, because I'm using my other seasonings, I could use that, but since we have our green onions, we're going to use it. So we'll use that. We'll use some of our onions, of course, and then I figured that's why I bought my bell pepper. I'll include my bell pepper, and we'll also add some of our thyme. So this right here is going to be our green seasoning. Stick around to see everything that I make with all of these ingredients. Most of my scallions, so as you can see, I cut most of them off. We're just gonna leave those 2, and I am going to work on the seasoning for our meat so we can let it sit for a little. So as you saw, I have my scallions. I did half of my bell pepper. I have a few sprigs of thyme, and I just use a whole onion. So we're just going to add them to my trusty Ninja blender. I mentioned this in my Black Friday wishlist video, which I'll link below. Has already been washed and cleaned, so now we're going to season it. So I'm going to add some of my green seasoning. And for the thyme, I didn't blend it because these stems usually don't blend all the way, so I'm just going to just take them off of the stems and add them in. I think this should be good for now with our thyme. And I'm gonna leave this for at least half an hour. Seasoned. Let's move this little. Oh, this one. Yeah. I'm going to leave this in my fridge covered for about half an hour. I learned from my last video, so I'm trying to just knock everything out or prioritize. So this is how I still have my gloves on because I want to use this. I don't mind a little bit of the green seasoning, but I'm going to use mainly dried seasonings for this the ground turkey because I'm thinking about making maybe like some breakfast sausages from it. So I have my 1 pound pack here. Just a splash of this, not even, that's it. And this is with my same green seasoning. I just want to make sure everything is combined. And I think I'm just going to do a little bit of this Mrs. Dash. So I think we're done. Once I fold it in, it just looks like there's no seasoning in it, but I know I added a good bit, so I'm going to leave this, wash my hands. I'm also just going to add some of the fresh thyme. I'm just going to cover and leave this one in our fridge until we're ready for it. We're going to get started on our rice. So for the rice, I am thinking of just doing plain rice, and then the other one we will do like a veggie rice with some of the vegetables that we bought. So let's see. I think I'm going to start, maybe I'll do 2 cups of rice. Let's see how many. As you can see, the water for our rice is bubbling. I'm just going to do this with the salt, since we have it. I still have a few of those sprigs of thyme. I'm just going to add it, and our rice is washed. So this is 2 cups. I'm just going to add that in. I'm going to leave our rice to cook. Everything is in, it doesn't need anything extra. And let's switch spaces. And one of our sides is going to be our black beans. So for the black beans, usually I do just a little oil. I'll do a little tomato paste and then my beans, but we don't have tomato paste. So I'm going to do a little bit of my olive oil. Of course, you can use whatever oil you have. So let's do a little bit of this. And I'm going to use a little bit of my green seasoning. Yes, I don't like the big chunks of onions and peppers. If I see them, I'll take them out. So since it's already blended as part of my green seasoning, why not? So I added my beans. I'm just going to give this a stir. I'm going to do a little water. These beans need no time because they're already cooked. It's just for you to season them to taste. And let's just do a little smoked paprika, just because. And I'm just going to taste it because these beans already have salt. Yeah, so it's black beans, water, and salt. So I'll taste it before I add anything else. I'm just going to mash it just a little. Hopefully that helps to thicken my... Since I don't have my usual tomato paste, I think I'm just going to add just a little bit of ketchup. Our black beans are pretty much done. I like mine to still have a little bit of, I guess, gravy. Our rice is still going. I added a little bit more water, but this also takes no time to cook. Our rice is done, our black beans are done, so we are going to work on our vegetables. I cleaned all of our string beans. I cut off the tips, got rid of the ones that were not so great, so this is all that we have. Then I went ahead and I peeled our carrots. So I have 2, 4, 5. So I have 5 carrots here. And for our sides, I'm thinking we can do some sauteed string beans, maybe add some carrots. Since we didn't get any broccoli, that would be our side, one of our sides. Then we're going to, for the carrots, the remainder of the carrots, we're going to add them to our vegetable rice, and I'm going to also make a macaroni salad. So that's how we're going to use both our carrots and our string beans. So I'm just going to get started on cutting this up for our sauteed vegetables. And I have my gloves on because I know these carrots will stain my nails. I do not want to take any chances. So let's see. I'm thinking to just do like strips since our string beans are longer. I don't want them too thin. That's why I'm not using my faithful julienne peeler. For our sauteed vegetables. I have my carrots. I think this should be good. This is actually a lot. And I'm going to do some of the string beans. I'm going to try to get like the longer pieces. I think this is good. So this is going to be our sauteed vegetables. And I think I'm going to add half of this just to add a little more color. Everything is prepped, so I grated both blocks of cheese, so we have that here. As you can see, I have my string beans in these little pieces. This is going to go in our vegetable rice and our macaroni salad. I did the same thing to our carrots, and these are the vegetables that we're going to saute. Let's get started on our meat. If you're not familiar, I am going to do some stewed meat. This method, I know if you're not from the Caribbean, or I'm not even sure it may be used elsewhere, but of course I'm from the Caribbean, so that's my reference. So we basically brown our sugar, so you get your sugar nice and dark, and that gives the meat its color. You can also buy the browning in a bottle, but of course, since we're on a budget and we bought the sugar to use for other items that we're going to be including, then why not just use it? So I am going to use most of the drumsticks for this. I have my pot on the stove, and usually I do this with brown sugar, but you can use white as well. But since we have white, that's what we're going to use. So I have my pot on. I'm going to add some vegetable oil. And I know stewing meat, for a lot of people from the Caribbean, it's a learning curve. The first time I did it, it came out too sweet because I didn't leave the sugar to brown enough. The second time I did it, it was too bitter, so it's really a learning curve. So we're going to let this the oil get hot, and then we're going to add the sugar. And of course, the white sugar, it takes longer for it to brown because it has to go from, white to brown. So I'm going to do, let's see, I think I'm going to do, I have a tablespoon there, maybe like a tablespoon and a half. So you see the white sugar is getting darker, so we just leave it until it gets nice and dark. So now it's nice and dark, so I'm going to add my chicken in, and I always have my cover nearby. As you can see, I just added my chicken. I left it, I have not touched it since, because you want it to, of course, get the color. So you want to leave it undisturbed. So I added all of my drumsticks. So I had 6, and then I did 2 pieces of the thigh, and see how brown it gets. So let's see the color. So you can definitely still get some more color. I like mine to be nice and dark, so you see that color, beautiful. And of course it released its own liquid, so I'm just going to turn them over. Alright, these pieces I think can get a little more color. Let's see. I'm just going to cover it again and leave it. While our meat is going, we're just going to saute our vegetables. I'm doing just a little olive oil. I'm going to add everything except my peppers. Those take the least amount of time to cook. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of water. Added my peppers and our vegetables are pretty much done. The only thing I'm going to add to it, of course, you can season your vegetables, you know, with whatever you love, but I'm just going to add some of this salt-free batch seasoning. Check out the colors on this. So bright, right? So vibrant. This is our chicken. I just added just a little bit more water, as you can see. And the color is dependent on how you would like it. So for me, this is like my ideal color. It can even be a little darker, but in my case, because I removed a lot of the skin. See the color. So what I would suggest, though, depending on how dark you like it, so I mean the gravy is still a good color. What you can do, if you did, let's say you did it like this and you wanted it just to be a little darker, I have done this before. So I have basically browned my sugar on the side. So like in a separate pot, you can add your sugar and some oil again, get it dark, and then add it to this if you wanted to give it a little more color. As you can see, and I just left it. I just literally added it to the pot and left it. And I'll show you what I was referring to. This is what is also used, this caramel browning. So basically this is the work of the sugar and oil done for you. So to our stew chicken, we're going to add, I still have some thyme that I was going to add to my seasoning. So this, we can just add our thyme here. And some ketchup. So just one little squirt. And if you wanted to, you can of course add onions to it, but I am just going to add enough water to cover my chicken because I want it to just continue to cook. And you can pretty much add whatever other types of seasoning that you want. So I'm just going to do, I have this peppercorn grinder. I'm just going to add some of this. If you wanted a little heat, you can add that as well. Parsley flakes. Meat has been on for a while, so I'm just going to check to see the liquid has definitely reduced significantly. I don't want a lot of liquid, but I do want some. And as you can see, look at this, it's like falling off the bone. That is perfect. So I'm going to turn it off now, and this is our stewed chicken. For the second set of meat, which we have 4 of the leg quarter parts left, 4 of the thighs left. I think I'm just going to brown them a little in this pan just so they get a little color, and then finish them in the oven. And maybe we can do maybe like a sweet and sour sauce. I haven't decided yet, but I think we will do that. So let's add them to the pan. Just with a little bit of vegetable oil, and I'm just going to leave it and let it get a little bit of color. As you can see, I flipped them over. They have a little bit of color. Of course, the color would not be that dark because I removed the skin, but just a little bit of color, and of course it will finish in the oven. So I'm just going to leave them. This one has no color really. So I'm just going to leave them a little while longer. For the chicken, the 4 pieces that we have left, I'm going to finish them in the oven. So let me just add them to this. I am thinking about doing maybe like a sweet and sour chicken. So I'm going to cover them, finish them in the oven, and then we'll make the sauce to put over it. Gonna put whatever liquid is in here. I just don't want it to dry out very soon. So this is it. It's a little crazy, but once we add our sauce, let's just cover it. Guys, you have probably heard this so many times when people say, oh, I don't follow a recipe. Well, I happen to be one of those people, but what I would usually do is, of course, not for everything. For some things you need a recipe and you follow it, but usually if I'm thinking about doing something, I'll go usually on Pinterest. I'll get a recipe, I will get the general concept, then I would, if I don't follow it exactly, then I would make my little changes. So I am thinking for the chicken that we put in the oven, we can do like a sweet and sour. And I found a recipe on Pinterest, so I'll leave everything that I use, I'll leave it linked below. So it calls for, I have done sweet and sour chicken before, and I used pineapple juice, but of course that was not part of our budget, so we're going to improvise. This is the recipe that I wrote out, and for the juice I'm going to use water, and I think I might omit the ketchup. And let's see, for the vinegar, that's one of the things we're going to use from our pantry, because vinegar is another thing that I have in my pantry forever. This one I've had for months, it's still good, it has not expired. I don't have cornstarch either, so we're going to make it work though. We're going to make it work. So let's make the sweet and sour sauce. The vinegar, because I am not using pineapple juice, which would have added a little more sweetness, I think I am going to start with, let's do, it calls for a 1/3 cup. I think I'm just going to do half of that, and I'll taste it and see how it tastes, and then if we need a little more acidity, then I'll add it. So I'm going to do a cup of water. Also calls for soy sauce, which was not a part of our budget, but if you're like me, you keep a few of these packets, so we're going to use that. I found 2 in my fridge. I have a few more, so I'm just going to use 2 of these packets. Add this to the stove, and once it starts to thicken, we will taste it and see if we should add the ketchup or more of the vinegar. Actually, let me see what it tastes like right now. Right right now it is pretty sweet, of course, because the sugar hasn't dissolved. So I am going to put this on the stove and we'll just monitor it. This is our sauce. Our soy sauce, of course, just took over in color. It is, I tasted it and it's a little on the sweeter side, so I'm going to add the remainder of the vinegar that it called for. And since we did not have cornstarch but we do have flour, I'm going to take a little bit of this and dissolve my flour in it and then add it back to the pot just to thicken it up a little. Trying to avoid it getting the lumps, so I'm going to do this and then I'm going to add some of that. Okay. Nice and smooth, and I'm going to add a little bit of that the sauce into this. I'm trying not to shock my flour once I add it, so this should be good. To take it off now because once it sits it's also going to thicken a little more, so I think I'm going to take it off because I am going for more of like a glaze on the chicken, not necessarily like extremely saucy, so I am going to take it off. Look, I'm checking out now with chicken and as you can see it is cooked, but I still want to put it back in longer. I know it looks crazy now, but don't worry, we're getting there. So I am going to remove it from this pan because as I said, I want to give it that glaze. So I'm going to remove it. I am going to save this, but I'm going to strain it to get rid of all of the seasoning that's floating around. Yep, so I strained it and I'm going to keep this on reserve. I'm going to reserve this. And for this, I'm going to just add some of our sweet and sour sauce. Let's see. Still going to save some. And of course that's all of our seasons that you still see on our chicken, but I'm going to cover this, put it back in the oven for it to finish cooking and for our sauce and chicken basically to meet and mingle. Then we'll come back. Look at how good our chicken looks now. So I just flipped them over and you see how thick this sauce is, and I just spooned some of that sauce over it. So I am going to put them back in the oven for just 5 minutes uncovered. Then our chicken will be done. Look at how good that looks with our little glaze. I'm just going to snag this piece to give it a try. Yep, so good. I am also going to make with our elbow macaroni. I'm going to use about half. I don't want to do a large pan, so I'm going to make baked macaroni and cheese. So where I am from, and I know a lot of Caribbean islands, we call it macaroni pie. So I'm going to use this for that, for our macaroni pie, and I'm also going to use it to make macaroni salad. I have my water boiling, so that's what we're going to do. Our macaroni is done, so I left a little back for my pasta salad, so I'm just going to do some milk. Sometimes I grate an onion. If I don't feel like it, then I just do the powdered. So I'm just doing a little bit of onion powder. I'm gonna do some garlic powder and black pepper. And I combine the cheeses as you saw. So I have marbled sharp cheddar and Gouda. And I usually include an egg in mine. Our macaroni pie is done. Look at how good this thing looks. So good. And it smells even better. The next thing on our menu is cornbread. I absolutely love cornbread. I think I tried it, maybe making it maybe 1 or 2 times before, and I wasn't 100% pleased with the outcome. So I tried it again, I would say maybe about a month ago, and it came out so good. I used a recipe which I'll leave linked below. It came out so good, and I made it a second time and it was just as good. So I'm going to give it another try. And I just jotted down the recipe, and as I said, I'll leave it linked below. I actually found it on Pinterest. Just a little bit. I'll do this just add nutmeg, just a dash. It doesn't alter the taste. Over now. Our cornbread is done, so it is out. guys, I did one thing that is probably against my $35. So I had this in my fridge for the longest while, which was literally not even a teaspoon of honey with some butter. So I just added it to this. It was sitting in my fridge from the last time that I made that cornbread. So just wanted to let you know. I didn't find any lettuce that would fit into the budget, but I did find cucumber and tomatoes. So I'm thinking we can just do like a cucumber tomato salad. That should be really good. So I'm just going to cut these. And for a quick dressing, I using what's already in my pantry. I have this balsamic vinegar. I always have this with just a little bit of olive oil. I have half of a lime here. I probably won't use the entire thing. And then we're just going to season it a little with this salt free, and then some crushed red pepper for a bit of heat. If we had a budget for honey, then I probably would have added honey. So we can do a little bit of the white sugar just to balance out that's the acidity. So right now it's really acidic. If you didn't want to, you don't even have to do a dressing. Next up on our menu is our macaroni salad. So we had some macaroni left over from our baked mac and cheese. Then you remember all the carrots that I diced, as well as our string beans. So we have those. We still have our corn. And usually my macaroni salad, very simple. I put all of these, some mayo, and some mustard, and that's it. So I am going to put these on the stove for them to cook just a little bit so they're not raw. So I'm going to do that to my carrots and my string beans. Let's finish making our macaroni salad. So I don't mind eggs. You know, some people put eggs in their potato salad and their macaroni salad. I don't mind eggs in mine, but usually I'm just, by the time I remember eggs, I have already completed everything. So I'm just like, oh, I guess laziness. But for my pasta salad, I'm just going to add some parsley flakes. Very simple. I don't my macaroni salad is usually very simple. Just a little Italian seasoning. And I had basically boiled my carrots and string beans, and I had them in the fridge so they're nice and cold. And I do mustard. I just do enough so it has just a little taste but not overpowering, and of course mayo. This is perfect. It has just the right amount of mustard and mayo. And this is another side dish. For our tuna, we're going to do some tuna burgers, but I have to share this I guess like tip based on a recipe that I found that I did a while ago, maybe like 2 months ago. So I made some salmon burgers, And I have my, you know, my seasonings that I add, my own little method. But I get so many magazines. So what I have done is I've gone through all of them and I've taken out the recipes that I like, and I now have them in this yellow folder that you see. So I have them in this folder, and then I put them in this like white protective I think, what are these called, like sheets, sleeves or something, sheet covers. And I have highlighted, as you can see right here, I put like tabs on the ones that I want to try. So I found this is a salmon burger with quick pickles and red pepper aioli. So I did my usual seasonings, but the game changer that they did is for the aioli, which had mayo, it had mayo and I think it was mustard, but I'll show you. So I did the aioli, then I added it to the burger. It made the burger so juicy. So that was the game changer. So I didn't really follow this exactly. I basically just took the aioli portion and I followed that path. So we're going to do the same thing for our tuna burgers, and I will have this linked because this is from, which magazine is this from? I have to look because I'm pretty sure that I found this this recipe online, so I'll leave it linked for you. We're going to get started on our tuna burgers. So of course we have our 2 cans of tuna. I've already opened them and drained. These are in water, so I've drained the water. I have eggs. I'm going to start with 1 egg. Maybe I'll use 2, we'll see. I have a little bit of yellow mustard from my fridge, mayo. I cut 2 pieces of our scallions, so I have those. We're going to add that, and then our seasoning. So I have some parsley flakes, garlic powder, I have onion powder, I have some dill, half of one of our limes. I usually put like maybe like a tablespoon of breadcrumbs just to hold it together, but since breadcrumbs was not a part of our budget, we do have burger buns. So like I did in the last video, I'm just going to take half of one of the burger buns. We probably won't use all of this. I'm going to toast it, then blend it, and right there we have our own breadcrumbs. For the aioli that I mentioned from the recipe, it calls for half of mayo, and we're going to doctor it up to our liking. It called for some other things, but we're just using that as for reference. So I added some dill and just a squeeze of the lime, so it's easier to spread, because we're also going to use this as a spread for our bun. And it called for grated garlic. We don't have grated garlic, but of course we have our powdered version. So I'm just going to do some powdered garlic, and I have this peppercorn medley grinder. I'm going to grind some of this. Let's combine it. And I think we could use a little heat. So I have add a little bit of that. I'm going to taste it. I think I want a little bit more lime. And let's just hit it with a little smoked paprika, because why not? This is what it looks like. We're just going to leave this on the side and get working on our burger. Our tuna is in. So we're just going to use the remainder of our lime. I'm going to add the other piece of our scallion, just a little bit of mustard, dill, this is our homemade breadcrumbs. Let's use, it's not that much, so let's use that much first. Combine everything. I think we could use everything else. We're going to do some of our mayo. I'm thinking maybe we can do another half of our bread, of our burger buns. So I am going to blend the other half. Let's work on our burgers. I think if you're making this, I would say just use maybe a little, don't use as much of the mayo mixture. We did a total of 1 whole hamburger bun, so I added the other half. And I had it in the fridge for maybe like 15-20 minutes. We're just going to make our patties. Let's see. Looks like this will give us 3 patties. I don't know if we're going to get 4. To the pan, and I just did 1 to see how it will turn out in terms of texture, but it's doing actually really well. So I'm going to add the others. Once this is done, let me turn the fire down. You can see it's nice and golden. Tuna burgers are out. They look delicious. Of course, you can tell which one was the first one. This one. I would say if you are making these, just add less of the mayo mixture. I think I misjudged it just because when I did it last time, I used the salmon tins, and they have a lot more in them. So, and I am so happy that they stayed together. and I toasted 2 of our burger buns, so we're going to assemble it. To assemble our buns, our burgers, we're just going to do a little of our aioli. Just like that. We have our tuna burgers. So this is an option. Tuna burgers, or we can even eat them by themselves. You can eat it for breakfast with some scrambled eggs on the side. Since we have our leftover rice, we're going to do a veggie rice. Of course, it's not authentic like fried rice or anything, but we're just going to make it work. So we have our rice, of course. Then we still have some of our carrots and string beans and our corn. So let's make this work. I have my wok here. I'm just going to do some avocado oil, and it's hot already, so. And since our vegetables are already cooked, just for us to heat them up, I'm just going to do some of this salty dash original blend to season our vegetables. To do the same thing. Now I'm going to season everything with the rice in. And like we did before, I found 2 more of those soy packs. So this is the only sodium sauce that I'm using. And I have the last piece of our scallion, so we're just going to chop that up. And we're done. Let's think about some breakfast options. So the first option, based on what I bought, I am going to make cornmeal porridge. Now I absolutely love cornmeal porridge, and of course we got our cornmeal, so I'm going to use some of this. I have cinnamon batter. This I got when I went back home earlier this year, but this is a treasure, so I'm going to leave it alone. And I know sometimes cinnamon can get a little pricey, so we're going to use this Trader Joe pumpkin pie spice that has just about everything. So it has our cinnamon, it has some ginger, nutmeg, cloves, cardamom, and lemon peel. I'm going to use this. Now usually I would have included what is it, condensed milk. That gives us the sweetness plus the milk option, but since that's not part of our budget, I'm just going to use some of our sugar, and of course we still have some of our milk left. So I saw this trick on, I don't know if it's a trick, but I saw this on another YouTuber's page. On her Instagram I actually saw it. Her name is her handle is That Nurse Can Cook. I saw this and I've been using it since, and it has worked beautifully. So what she does is to avoid the lumps. Now I don't mind lumps in my cornmeal porridge, but for me it's easier when you're stirring it, just because it can get annoying. Well, what she did is she took her cornmeal, so I just have a cup here, and she actually added water to it and mixed it up before she added it to the pot of boiling water. So we are going to do that. You know, with cornmeal, as soon as you add it to the water, it thickens immediately, so you have to spin it a lot. You have to babysit this thing. This is like planted. So she just did that, and then I'm going to get my water boiling on the stove. Our water is boiling, so to this I'm going to add my cornmeal and stir. Add and stir. And I'm going to turn my stove down. And to the water, I added the sugar, and I added my pumpkin pie spice. I have learned over the years not to be deceived. Right now it looks like you have a lot of water, but as you can see, it is bubbling and it is thickening really fast. Just like that, look at how fast it got thick. And you can decide how you like it. I like mine, I don't really have like a major preference. I don't mind it thick. I don't mind it to be a little more on the watery side. And you just taste and add. So I tasted to see if it was, if the sweetness was fine. Just keep stirring. And I usually add my milk at the very last minute. Once it is cooked, it's sweetened, I add the milk last, just so it isn't splashing everywhere. And because this cornmeal was the coast one, that was the only one that they had. I'm going to add just a little more water. See, so now it's a lot thinner. And this consistency I like, so it still has movement, but it's not like watery. So I'm going to add my milk. I'm going to start with like a half cup. I'm going to add a little more, so 1 cup of milk I did. I did 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of milk. You see, I still want mine to have movements. If this one, if you want to have it in a cup and drink it, you can. And I'm going to just add a little more of my pumpkin pie spice. So now it's done. It's just for the milk to heat up. And just like that, we have a breakfast option, cornmeal porridge. For our next breakfast option, we're going to do pancakes because we have everything that we need to make pancakes, so why not? And we're going to use our ground turkey, which we seasoned. So we're going to do some breakfast sausages, so just some little patties. And I am thinking, usually you can get, for breakfast sausages, you can do in like a maple breakfast sausage or like an apple flavored. But since we have our sweet and sour sauce, this is more on the sweet side, so I still have a little bit left. I'm thinking to add this to some of them just for like a glaze, so it would give us that, you know, like sweet sausage flavor. We'll see how that goes. So we're going to make those breakfast sausages. Of course, we can do scrambled eggs as a side because we still have a lot of eggs. For our pancakes, we have our baking powder. We don't have butter, of course, so we're just going to use the margarine stick that we have. Then we have our eggs. We have a little bit of this salt. This milk is probably going to, we're probably going to use all of the what's left of this milk. Then we have our flour, of course. So we have our flour, and then I'm going to do just a little sugar. Not a lot for it to be overpowering, just a little. This is our batter for our pancakes. These are our pancakes. We had a total of 8, but one has already been eaten. Let's work on our breakfast sausages. So I know for this ground turkey, it gets a little sticky, so I did gloves. But I was going to do oil, but I have a little bit of this, so I'm going to put it on my hands. And we're going to hope for this and wish that hope that this works in our favor. Let's see. And since they're not burgers, I'm going to do them. Oh, perfect. I'm going to make small ones. So I did 8 of our breakfast patties, and I'm going to leave this back because I have plans for it. So just keep watching. I'm going to add a little bit of this because since they're so lean, I don't want them to stick. These are our breakfast sausages. 2 of them are ready, so these 2. They are done. I just wanted them to get just a little bit more color. And for our sweet and sour sauce that I mentioned, I am just going to get a spoon. I'm just going to put like a dollop on top. Then when I flip them over, it should caramelize, and that should be really good. I just want it to have a glaze. I'm just going to put it on all of them. Why not? We have the leftover. Sausages, so good. So it's done. I'm going to take them out. Next on our menu is bread. I found flour, I found yeast, so we can do some bread today. I am going to do very basic. So I have, of course, we have our flour here, we have our margarine spread. We're going to use some of this. And then you saw that I found this yeast for 99 cents at Trader Joe. We need just a pinch of salt, and I have this sugar. This is, I'm just going to add just a little bit, maybe a teaspoon, to get our yeast going. Today I am enlisting some help, so I'm going to be using my KitchenAid mixer. I don't use this enough, but we need the help. I thought about making hamburger buns as well for our tuna patties, but I made some buns probably a year, more than maybe like 2 years ago, and it took a very long time, so I didn't want to deal with that. But we're just going to make our bread using our mixer. We have our yeast in this bowl. I'm just going to add just this little bit of sugar with a little water. I'm going to set that on the side. Let's get started. So I'm going to do 6 cups of flour. Switch to my hook attachment, and I'm going to add my water. Dough, so I'm going to cover this and leave it to rise. Let's work on our bread. So as you can see, our dough has risen significantly, and I have my rolling pin. I'm just going to add a little bit of flour to the surface. Cut this into pieces. Let's cut this into my dough is so soft and nice. I'm going to save one of these for another idea that I have in mind, but let's just see if maybe I could make this. I'm going to have to give you a sideways view. This is our first one. And let's just roll this.
All I want
to get 3 loaves of bread and this dough. So I am going to make another breakfast item. I made it before, but with prepared. I made it with, I think, croissant rolls. But since we have dough, I'm going to try to make it again with homemade dough, of course. So I have this ready, and this is our bread. So we have 3 loaves. Oh, they look so nice and smooth. I'm going to do something that back in the day I had aunts who, well, they're cousins, but you know, they're older, so you call them aunts. They had a bread making business, and one of them, I would always see her do this. So just going to wash my hands. She would just do this. Of course I have my margarine, but just to give it some color. So we're going to add these to the oven. Yes, so she would do this with a little water. Of course I have the margarine, so I can melt it and just add it, but this is just simple. So we're going to add it to our oven now. For our final breakfast item, we're going to make a breakfast loaf. We're going to call it a breakfast loaf. So for our meat item, I'm just going to use what we have left of our ground turkey. We still have some cheese, so we're going to add our cheese to it, and we still have a lot of eggs. So I am actually going to use 8 eggs. So we're going to scramble these and add it to our dough that we prepared. We have our dough here. Don't mind how it looks. I had it on my stove and my oven is on, so it actually started cooking or baking, I should say. So let's do a little bit of cheese. Then we're going to add our eggs. I'm going to try to fit all of it because I think this is a lot of dough. So I want to when you eat it, you know, you get eggs, at least eggs in every piece. Yep, and we made it. Let's see. Okay, good. And for our meat, we don't have a lot. Let me see. I'm just gonna. And we're going to try to be a little fancy. So let's try. Oh, this one is falling apart. Oh, I forgot to add. I wanted to add some more cheese. I just add it in this section. I think that should be good because we have cheese in our eggs, cheese on the bottom. It's a loaf here. I think for this one, it should be fine. For this one, I think I'm just going to put like little pieces of that margarine on top. To add this to the oven. Our bread is out. Don't mind, I didn't tuck these properly so they unravel, but they look really good. So we have 3 loaves, and of course we can eat our bread with just about anything. That's how soft it is. This is really hot. So it has good crust on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. This is our breakfast loaf, I guess we can call it. Let me cut it so that you can see what it looks like on the inside. Look at how good this looks. It has so much eggs. When you bite into it, this is gonna be really good. Let's see. This thing is hot, look. We have a lot of limes left. So I have my limes, we have our sugar. I'm just going to use this small pitcher right here, and then we have, of course, our water. Usually do like my sugar and lime mixture first. what I got from 4 limes. And then I'm just going to add my water. Our lime juice, or lime squash as we call it, is done. And if we want to be a little fancy, we're just going to add 2 pieces. This is what we have. So of course we have our stewed chicken. Then we made our rice. So we have our rice, we have our beans, and our vegetables. We have 3 more dishes out. So of course our macaroni pie, our baked macaroni and cheese. This looks so good. We have our cornbread and our sweet and sour glazed chicken. We have 2 other meal options. So the first one, of course, we are going to use our stewed chicken, the tomato and cucumber salad that we made, our sauteed vegetables, and our baked macaroni and cheese that we did. Then this option is, the only thing that's different is the chicken. So this one uses our sweet and sour chicken. So this is another meal option. Another one of our side dishes, we have our macaroni salad. Of course, I showed you our vegetable rice that we made from the vegetables that we had left over and the rice that we cooked previously. That wraps up my video where I made 18 dishes using less than $30. Like I did in the last video, I always want to show you what I have left over, so I'm going to show you now. I still have 2 packets of the yeast because we only used 1. I still have more than half of my bag of thyme. Still have tomatoes left. I have more than half of a cucumber left, so I still have a good bit of that. I still have a little piece of this yellow bell pepper. We have, let's see, just a little bit of string beans and 1 carrot. So 1 carrot and then just a little bit of string beans. I still have quite a bit of this imperial margarine spread, so I have 2 full blocks, I guess, and this little piece. I have not that much rice, so this is all the rice that I had left. I still have 5 limes, so I bought a total of 12. I still have 5 left. I have a little bit of my green seasoning. I still have a can of corn. Of course, I have this, basically the entire container of baking powder because we didn't use that much. What else? I have, I guess, about half of my cornmeal left. We do not have that much cheese, just this little bit of cheese left. For eggs, I have quite a few left, so I still have 10 eggs. Bread, I just have 4. of the hamburger buns left. What else? Our elbow macaroni. I don't have that much left, definitely less than half. I still have a lot of our sugar left. So a lot of sugar, and the flour, not that much. So we definitely use a lot more flour this time around. I have less than half of it left. There we have it, guys. 18 dishes, less than $30. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave me your comments in the comment section. Let me know if you try any of the dishes that I showed. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. And subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.